Okay, I'd like to call this MPC meeting to order. The Municipal Planning Commission is conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council chambers is now open for public attendance in person. However, members may still join meetings remotely using our current teleconference process. As per Wheatland County Policy 7.13, members of the public are not permitted to speak unless the Commission agrees to hear from them. If the Commission agrees to allow the public to speak, the Chair will call upon specific individuals at that time. Please note, this call is being recorded and will be uploaded to our website and/or social media. For any individuals using this conference call line, we ask that you mute your phone to eliminate background noise. Everyone has a right to be present at the Municipal Planning Commission meetings. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the chair as per Municipal Government Act Section 198. We thank you for your cooperation and understanding. So, I guess we have an agenda in front of us. Is there anything, are we adding anything to the agenda?
I'll move approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Link. We have that. Is there anyone opposed? I guess we can vote this. All in favor, raise your hand. I guess we get to do this now. We have the adoption of the minutes. I want to make note right now that Commissioner Wilson is absent from the meeting, so but we have the unapproved minutes for September 14th, 2021. Are there any corrections?
I'll move them as circulated, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Armstrong. All in favor? Yes, sorry.
Not a problem. Just through the chair, on the September 14th, rather, 2021 minutes, just to make a note in terms of members absent, Commissioner Wilson was absent, so we can put that in the minutes as well.
Thank you very much.
Not
I
a problem.
appreciate that. So with that addition, all in favor of adopting the minutes? They are adopted. We will now move on to development permit applications. 2.1 DP 2021-167.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Hayes, Development Officer with Wheatland County. The application before us is for a variance to the rear yard setback for an existing shed. If you go to the location plan on page 9 of the agenda package, you will see that it's located within the hamlet of Cheadle. The application was circulated to adjacent neighbors +1. It was not circulated to any agencies. And internal circulation, there was just one comment, or no comments. Actually, the Deputy Regional Fire Chief had no concerns. So there we have the circulation map also on page 9. On page 10, we can see the site plan, which was an RPR. A letter of compliance was requested and a playhouse and a shed did not have development permits. They met all the setbacks except for the shed did not meet the setback to the rear property line. It was located 0.98 feet and it should be 4 feet from the rear property line. The shed was constructed in approximately 2010. It was constructed on pilings, so it would be very difficult to move the shed. The property adjacent to the subject parcel is a 51-acre hamlet residential parcel, as you can see here. There is an existing dwelling and a business and some outbuildings on the property, but they're on a separate area of the parcel over here. So if we go to page 11, we can see some photos of the accessory building that's too close to the property line at 0.30 meters or 0.98 feet. And on page 12 is another photo. The variance is greater than 10%, so it must be decided by MPC. The proposal meets the criteria listed in the LUB for variances, as it should not have a negative impact on surrounding landowners. No concerns were raised from the circulation to landowners, and no concerns were raised from the Deputy Regional Fire Chief or any other staff member. No permit could be issued for this shed if the variance is not granted, or else the applicant would need to move it to the required setback. And although the development officer has the authority to grant the permitted use permit for the playhouse, all of the permits are being processed under one application. Should MPC choose to deny the variance for the shed, the playhouse will still be granted a permit. The recommendations are on pages 5 and 6 of the agenda. Staff are recommending approval of the application with the variance subject to the conditions as noted. MPC has the standard 3 options, which are found on page 7. And that concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Suzanne. MPC's wishes? Well, I'll move that we approve DP 2021-167 for a shed with a variance subject to the conditions. Discussions? All in favor? That passes. We will move on to DP 2021-174.
Hi, it's still Suzanne Hayes presenting. This application is for an entertainment venue for weddings and other special events and activities, and an outdoor seasonal cafe. The location plan is on page 18 of the agenda package, and you can see that it is about a half a mile north of Strathmore on the west side of Highway 817. Circulation was performed to adjacent landowners within 1 mile. On page 18, you can see that circulation map. There were no responses. It was circulated to Alberta Health Services and WID, who had no responses or no concerns. It was circulated to Alberta Transportation, and they had made mention of the roadside development permit that was issued at the time of redesignation to rural business, allowing the applicant to expand the business, including an expansion of the existing market garden, outdoor cafe, and entertainment venue. They also had the following comments: if in the future traffic volumes increase at this facility, resulting in an impact to the safe and efficient operation of the highway, the owner-operator of the facility will be required to submit a traffic impact assessment by a qualified engineering firm, with the cost and any improvements to the highway as recommended in the TIA will be the responsibility of the owner-operator of the facility, with no cost to Alberta Transportation. It was also circulated to the town of Strathmore. Planning had a few questions regarding the parking area and the county noise bylaw. So the parking area, if we look on the map on page 20, we can see where the parking area is. The town of Strathmore acting fire chief said it's not within our jurisdictional response area, but we may be called on to provide mutual aid, and please ensure adequate access is kept for emergency response apparatus and access to the structures. The RCMP had no additional comments outside of parking or noise, as it is far enough out of town it shouldn't have a significant impact from a policing perspective. As a follow-up, the large parking area was sent to the town showing where the parking is going to be provided on site, and just some clarification about the noise bylaw, which says it doesn't prevent the continual operation or carrying on of a commercial or industrial activity where the activity is an approved, permitted, or discretionary use. And when the noise bylaw would come into play is if the applicant was operating the facility outside of their development permit conditions or details of their application. So in this case, they're saying that they want to shut down late night events at 1:30 if they're an outside event, and 2 o'clock if they're an indoor event. And so if they operated outside of that and we got complaints, then that's when the noise bylaw could kick in. We circulated internally. The Deputy Regional Fire Chief said a fire inspection will be required. And the Manager of Operations said because it's accessed off of Highway 817, there's no concerns from the Transportation Department. On page 19, we can see their site plan and an aerial photo. So as mentioned, it was rezoned to rural business to expand and diversify the businesses for weddings and various activities within the event building and on the land, such as bovine, disc golf, and a small public market. Operations are proposed to be seasonal from May 1st to October 31st, and typically will run from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with some weddings later into the evening. And they may be held in a tent structure upon occasion, upon request, or outdoors. And as I mentioned, the hours for those events already. On page 20, some aerial photos again. Measurements to the nearest residences, the closest one being approximately 800 meters to the east. Town of Strathmore boundary is 720 meters to the south. Parking is going to be proposed for 2 4-acre parking areas, which are about 200 meters west of the entrance, which with each having the capacity to accommodate approximately 200 vehicles. The site is surrounded by a very dense treed area, which is going to be able to provide some sound buffering. And as you can see in the photos on pages 21 and 22 and 23, you can see a lot of the trees surrounding the facility. So both an entertainment venue and an outdoor cafe are discretionary uses. No variances have been requested. The noise bylaw is only applicable if the noise is happening over and above that which is allowed under the issued permit. No responses were received from surrounding landowners following the circulation, and the venue is on a provincial highway and has approval from Alberta Transportation. And again, the large number of mature trees act as a natural sound buffer. The entertainment venue and outdoor cafe are proposed under one application, but again, MPC has the discretion to approve one or the other or both, and staff are recommending option 1, which is on page 14 of the agenda package, the recommendation. Staff are recommending that MPC approve the application with the conditions as noted, with the hours of operation as proposed by the applicant. And the recommendations are found on page 16 for MPC to consider. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. MPC's wishes?
I'll make the motion that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2021-174 for an entertainment venue and an outdoor cafe subject to the presented conditions.
Thank you, Commissioner Clausen. Discussion. I've just got one question, and that is, the hours of operation, are they the same for all wedding venue operations in the county?
No, they are not. Usually the applicant proposes what they want for their hours of operation, and it seems to be contingent on who's their closest neighbors, what kind of sound attenuation is in the area. Sometimes if they're up on top of a hill or something and there's no barrier, the sound can carry more. So if they're off by themselves with no residences nearby, that could have an impact as well. So yeah, they do vary from one application to another.
Yeah, so theoretically, this application is good for 2 years, is it? Sorry?
This is permanent.
I'm just wondering about the fact that the town will be developing in that area, whether or not, like, what happens if the residential people in the town, do we care? Like, should we care?
I can't see where how they're located. Is quite a ways they own, like they're on the north side of their land. there's a big buffer between where the development would start.
Through the chair, if the town develops out there and develops close to them, you got to remember who's there first. This venue is there first, so there has to be some extenuating circumstances if the town's going to restrict them from using what they've put in place. They're the ones. They're there. They have a right to the use of their facility as it was set up. Just because somebody else moves in, they can't change it on their whim without some very
This is for my information.
where the change comes in would be down the road if the town comes out and develops around there, and then this property owner comes back in and looks to expand, then there'd be new conditions on his expansion, and they could roll over to his existing. As long as he stays what he is, he's fine. It's when he tries to expand it down the road.
I am going to miss your wisdom, Ben. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Matthew.
so just to the commission, one of the benefits I find certainly in Alberta's planning and development legislation requirements is intermunicipal circulation. So there's a strong intermunicipal circulation. Obviously, looking at the boundaries of the town, should a developer move in and develop an R1 or R2 residential zone, the town most certainly would have on file that there is an adjacent, whatever the adjacents are, whatever the operations are. But if one were to move there, that is up to them. That's their discretion. Similar, if you take the analogy of, for information, an airport, right? So if you're moving to a development already and you know that there's something adjacent that might be a nuisance, you choose to move there or you choose to develop there. So it's basically to Commissioner Armstrong's point, this operation and maybe certainly others in the county that are adjacent to the town that may cause quote unquote a nuisance to future development, well, the developer is going to develop there anyways. And that's at their discretion. So it's whomever's there. But intermunicipal circulation is definitely a benefit in circumstances like this, so that municipalities have knowledge of what's adjacent and what isn't.
Thank you.
And also in the area, there's a large piece of gas infrastructure right next door, a big compressor station, and living within a mile of one myself, there's a steady drone that comes off of those when they fire up and stuff. So there's already background noise that's in the area, and there's lots of trees around there. Very isolated area right now.
Well, thank you. We have a motion in front of us. All in favor? That is passed. No subdivision applications? Nothing in closed in session? I guess we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.